Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar, what we call the Tech Share series from Tech for Law. My name is Malcolm Pearson. I'm the editor of Tech for Law, and today we're going to chat to you, or sort of hopefully get the message across about better ways of getting more exposure for your law firm through electronic means. Right, just need to make sure my mouse is on the right place, and let's kick off. So the discussion points, and before I do continue, please tell me if you can't hear me properly. Just click on that questions and answers, which is on your screen I'm not sure if it's on the left or right of your screen, but click on the questions and answers, and then let me know if I need to turn up the volume or turn it down. Right, so let's carry on with those discussion points. Let me just see. Right, so the discussion points we're going to be chatting about. Types of electronic branding and exposure. What we can do in the electronic space to actually give you more exposure on the internet and get more people knocking on your door. What is important to Google on your web page? What is Google looking for? How can we address that and give them what they need? And obviously also why that is important, the Google part. Websites and calls to action on your website. Email, or is it not? We have a look at email and how you can improve on your delivery of email to your clients. Why and how to use newsletters is sort of an extension of email, but same sort of process, sending people newsletters. That's also something we'll look at. And then social media, how, why, when, and which. We'll have a quick look at social media, obviously not in depth, because we wouldn't have enough time in the day to actually go through all of that. To blog or not to blog is the question. We'll have a look at blogging. And then rest in peace, yellow pages, and what now? Okay, so those are basically the discussion points that I said that we would have a look at in the promotions that we've done for this webinar to date. Right, a quick disclaimer. I don't profess to be a search engine optimization specialist, SEO they call it. I'm not an electronic marketing company. I'm not a website designer dude. I'm not an email or newsletter guru. And basically what I'm trying to say there is this information that I'm sharing with you, I have found through my experience and bumping my head doing electronic campaigns, and those campaigns for my web pages and sites that I have out there. And also with my exposure to the law firm marketing talks and webinars and seminars and etc. that I've attended over the years, and what I have heard from them, and obviously that's what I want to share with you as well. So I don't profess to be any guru, but let's see what we can share with you. Right, types of electronic branding and exposure. Web page, branding through web pages. First of all, you need to obviously have a web page. If you don't have a web page, it's sort of something you should seriously look at. In the old days, we all looked at marketing or promoting our firms through brochures. I'm not saying that brochures are something you shouldn't do, but web pages very much are your electronic brochure, and also the gateway through to the electronic space. So we'll look at web pages later, but then also domain names and why that is important to your electronic branding or marketing. Electronic branding, electronic branding exposure, how to use emails, newsletters, social media, blogging, directories, and then paid advertising. And something I'm not going to talk about a lot here is paid advertising. It's what they call pay-per-click. You're paying somebody to click on your advert that you place with Google, and those people then go through to your website. If you want it quick and easy to get people to see your website quickly, without too much legwork, you can then pay for those adverts and get those people through to your site. It's not something that you must look at long term, but it might be a way of kickstarting your web page. Right, what I've done with these slideshows or screenshots that come up, I have put all the points that just pop up at once. I would like to give them to you one at a time, but because of bandwidth issues, it's far easier just to put one screen up and you can all see it as we go through it. Right, so Google and what is important to Google on your web page. So first question there would be is to why should we care about whether Google likes our web page or not? And basically Google, if you don't know, but Google are the people who obviously do all the, well, not hosting, but the search engine. They are the search engine people, and they index your pages so that people searching for certain terms can find your page. And that indexing is very important to the success of your web page and your electronic exposure. So that's why we sort of care what Google thinks of your web page. The main thing that the whole being found on the internet hinges around is your keywords, or are your keywords. So keywords are the crux of everything. So if people are searching for attorneys in Durban North, basically if you've based your website around that keyword, that you're an attorney in Durban North, and you've done all promotions in the right places, as we're going to discuss later, then your website will be found first. So that's the idea of the keywords. So if you're looking at a web page and you want to be found by Google, make sure that your keywords are relevant to what your site is about what the clients that you are targeting. Make sure that those keywords are going to be used by them when they're searching for you as an attorney. Right, so the idea to be found on Google a lot easier, your domain name is very important. And yes, like that example there, your name might be JD Frank, and you might have all your sons working for you. And to you, that's a very appropriate name for your website, jdfrankandsons.com. But if JD Frank and Sons was a road accident fund law firm, it would make far more sense for them to have a website name that is something like www.roadaccidentfundlawfirm.co.za. So obviously in that case, that website would be based on a road accident fund, and that would be the keyword that you would base it on. Then your domain name should be based on what your keywords are. So ideally, road accident fund law firm would be ideal for that type of firm. And the other thing I need to point out here is the co.za makes people who are looking for or gives people the idea that you're based in South Africa. So it's nice to have a .com domain. Makes you look very important, but try and stick to the local domain names, like in our instance, co.za. Page titles and H1s. Page titles are on your law firm website. If you have a page that is dedicated to road accident funds, and your keyword is road accident fund, and your page title is road accident fund, there is a far better chance of that being found by Google, and obviously higher up in the rankings. Then the H1, those are the headings that are on the web page. So if you can use your headings, obviously the most important is H1, and then it goes down the smaller it gets, the higher the number. So like an H6 will obviously be a smaller heading, but H1s are also indexed by Google. So if you can have headings in your web page that also have your keywords linked to it. Keywords in your content, as you know, the content of the web page is basically the text, the content that you've added to that web page. I did a bit of research, other than what my experience in the past. I've done some research on keywords of late, and it seems to be that the norm or the rule is about 4% is a good guide to go on for your keywords in the content of a web page. Although I must add that Google is sort of shying away from looking or focusing only at the keywords in your content. So people in the past have done what they called keyword stuffing, and it went sort of up to about 20% of the content. But at 4% is generally a good guide, but obviously your content must have the keywords, otherwise it's not going to be relevant or indexed by Google and people aren't going to find you. The other important thing on your website is alt names for images. So it is nice to have images. It's pleasing to the eye. People prefer seeing an image than a lot of text. But unfortunately, the Google index systems can't go and have a look at your image and then decide that that image is linked to a road accident fund. However, if your alternative name, now all images have an alternative name that you can add in the website code, that alternative name, make sure that it's linked to the keyword that is relevant to that page that you're promoting. Then sitemaps, make sure that your website has a sitemap. They call them sitemap.xml. Those sitemaps are used by Google as well. They go through, it's a quick way of them scanning your site to see if anything's changed. And those sitemaps, if your system is set up properly, like with WordPress or one of those will automatically be updated, and then Google will be able to find new changes to your website. The other important thing of late, Google have said that they will favor sites that are secure. And the sites that are secure, in simple terms, is instead of typing HTTP:, you type in HTTPS, which then is a secure site. So there seems to be a lot more focus from Google onto secure sites. So make sure that your site is secure. Then also, Google have also said that they realize that people are going mobile, and a lot of their searching is from the mobile platform. So they're obviously favoring sites that are mobile friendly, and there is a web address that you can go to. It's a Google. It's actually housed at Google, but there you go and say you put in your website address, and it'll tell you whether Google sees that as a mobile friendly site or not. It's just nice to know. And then Google tools. Google obviously aren't saying that you have to use their tools, but from my side, I would say that somebody who is indexing your site, and if you're using their tools, especially the My Business, if you want to go and check more about that, go and do a Google search on Google My Business. It's basically how you set up promoting your business to the local community. So have a look at those, but I would suggest using those tools. The analytics obviously tells you how your site is performing, how many visitors you get, etc. And the webmaster tools will tell you things like there's too many keywords, or things basically that your web designer will look after for you. But it's a nice way to keep everything in check. If I had to take a guess from those three that I've mentioned there, the Google My Business will probably be the best one to have a look at immediately. Right. Website's call to action points. Let me just have a swig of water, excuse me. Right, so website call to action points. The idea of having a website just because everybody mentions that having a website is a good thing is not really very clever. Having a website that tells that promotes what you think everybody needs to know is also not a good idea. What you need to do is get your clients, whatever your client is thinking, you need to actually start looking at addressing what your clients or your prospects needs are. So take your website and design it around addressing what they want from your site. And then in doing that, people don't just put up a website to waste money every month. You're obviously putting up that website for a reason. And I would imagine that 95% of you are putting up that website because you want to get more clients and you want to initiate that client calling you to do more business. So an example of that is download a free bullet checklist for buying your first house. If you're a conveyancing firm, have a little PDF that they can actually print out and take with them. Something that is nice and simple and easy to do. But if they want to get that bullet point, they can then just fill in their email, which obviously helps your newsletters for later, to get that PDF. So that's the idea. But by doing that, you're initiating them to communicate with you, and then obviously giving you their email address. Contact details are also very important. I see far too often on websites or law firm websites in South Africa that there's a lot of blurb on the front page, but no real contact details. You sort of need to browse to somewhere where you can actually eventually get a hold of them. And that's why I like this website that's on the next screen. The Injury Lawyer in Omaha. So this will give you an idea of what I think is a site that actually has decent calls to action. Osmond Law Firm. So you see that their web address wasn't Osmond Law Firm. It was about personal injury. If you have a look at the top there, there we go, my mouse is working. There's a telephone straight away, so telephone number, so not a telephone. So straight away you can actually contact them just by picking up the phone and dialing that number, because it's right in your face right from the beginning. There you have all their social media links. Straight away, if you want to go and follow them on Twitter, or if you want to go and see their Facebook page, everything is there right up front. LinkedIn as well. Then they've got a free consultation. I know not too many law firms or lawyers in South Africa want to offer free consultations because it often drags on, as you know. But there straight away you can actually click on a free consultation and see what's happening. The other thing I like is that they have a blog right up there, right up front. You can see nice and clean. You can see where it is. Then also you'll see below, to receive a free and confidential initial consultation, there's another way to contact them. And for fear of me actually messing up this presentation completely, I would show you what the rest of the site has. But further down on the next, while you scroll down to the next fold, there is a video that they have, which obviously introduces the firm. So a video, again, with websites is very important, especially to Google. And obviously for people love to watch videos. So that's another way of actually promoting yourself. But they've got a video. At the bottom, they've got a newsletter link where you can actually fill your details in and go and subscribe to their newsletter. So everywhere you look on their website, there's a way of them contacting you, of the client contacting them. So to me, that's extremely important, and I think a lot of South African law firms with their websites fall short of that and actually miss the opportunity. Yeah, I think that's enough said about being able to have a website that has a call for action. Right, moving on to email. Is email, or is it not? So obviously, just by that heading, I'm sure that you gather that I think that there's far more to email than just email. So with the attorney rules that we have in South Africa, there's a certain amount that you can do with marketing, and there's a certain amount you can't do. And although I have no legal background, I do know that nobody has been pressed to change their signatures of their emails that they send out. So based on the fact that email correspondence is probably more than 90% of your communication out of a law firm, it makes a hell of a lot of sense to actually have a signature file at the bottom of your email, a graphic or a link or whatever it is, to actually then promote something in either another department in your law firm, or to refer them to a blog article that you might have had, or anything basically just to market your firm a little bit more or a little bit better. Right, so the thing is, get a good email signature. Have somebody that can design it for you. If you're stuck with getting somebody who can design a decent email signature and who understands the law market, please let me know, and I can actually point you in a direction. So with those signatures, you need to think about what the client may be thinking. And like I say there, an email from a conveyancing paralegal might not be promoting the same thing as as an email coming from a litigation paralegal. If it's a conveyancing firm, they might want to talk about a blog they have where they spoke about furniture removal people who in the area that were good or could be used. So just basically a way of promoting something that's related to the client and what they're going through at that stage. Right. If you're stuck with email and on the signature side, the company you can chat to is .news Connect. That's Jack Crook, also of law.news. They've got a nice offering at the moment that does email signatures, and it doesn't only do the signature, it also tracks the clicks from that signature. It also then adds those email addresses to your client database, so you can then approach them again about a newsletter. But email signatures, I think, is a vital way of actually promoting your law firm in many other ways. Right, so moving on from emails, the natural progression from that obviously is newsletters. And basically the idea of newsletters is always for your law firm to be top of mind in your client's mind. So if any time they think, oh, I need some legal representation or I need legal advice, they think of your firm first. So these newsletters and the content that you use to send them out can be interesting topics from other sources. So you might want to talk, like I said, the example earlier with conveyancing, you might want to talk about moving and what you should look out for when you choose a furniture removal company. But it's that type of thing. Obviously related to what you're doing. Your business is law, and that's how you're hoping to help these people. Link to your blog articles in your newsletter, or vice versa. Use a system, so don't send out newsletters from your email addresses, your standard email addresses I'm talking about, like from Microsoft Outlook, because guaranteed that once it's more than 20 email addresses, your mail server or your provider will start flagging your email as spam, and then your whole company's email system will be down the tubes because everybody will then flag your email as spam. So use something like those that I've mentioned there, Aweber, MailChimp, law.news, and as I mentioned earlier, that's Jack Crook's business, the law.news. He's been doing those newsletters for a number of years. He puts out very good content, and that if you're happy to have that standard content, then contact law.news. So like I said, that you can either have the topics where you do them yourself, takes a bit more work, but obviously gives you better exposure because you can link to it in your blog articles. But if you want automated content, then use one of those systems. Right, social media. why, when, and which. LinkedIn. So I think it's very important for partners in the law firm to be on LinkedIn. It is by far the most popular social media platform for lawyers. And also make sure that your partners have exposure in LinkedIn. Obviously, you all have a LinkedIn profile, and also that the firm has a page that obviously those partners are linked to. Make sure those profiles are as complete as possible. I know that with LinkedIn, there is a little guide, or it tells you percentage complete of completing your profile. And I think you get up to 90% out of the 100% when you use the free version of LinkedIn. So my advice is get all of your partners up to 90%. And obviously, if you want to pay for the additional services and get up to 100%, go ahead. But that goes for all your social media profiles. Make sure that they are complete. And then in the about or the details of your profile, make sure that you talk about, or that you include your keywords. Remember, we spoke about the keywords earlier. Make sure that are your keywords that you're hoping to actually get out there, that they are addressed in the about details. Then very important, probably the most important out of all these points on the slide, find out where your clients are, which social media it is that your clients are using. You might very well find that your target market is for people over 60 years old. And that fact, you're not going to find anybody in social media, or maybe some of them Facebook talking to the grandkids. Don't try to deliver everything to everybody. Remember that you are a law firm, that you're providing legal services. So focus on that. Don't worry about who's playing rugby on the weekend or how the weather has changed. As I say, they're bespoke legal advice in layman's terms. Make sure that everybody can understand you. Now, also being popular on, or not being popular, but having a high number of people that follow you is not the goal here. It's more about the interaction of the people with you on that social media platform. And also a very important point, if you're not active in those social media accounts, then rather don't have one. So find one that you know is going to work and try that one first. If that doesn't succeed, move on to the others. Or if when you've mastered one and you believe that there's more to be had in the next, then go and do it, but make sure you do them properly. Blog and social media can feed off each other. So if you have a blog item that you've posted, then obviously you can link to that via social media and send people to that blog. Okay. Right, so to blog or not to blog is the question. So the more you produce good content on the internet, the more you will be seen. So gone are the days of just posting rubbish onto the internet and then going get black hat SEO, search engine optimization people to actually go and promote it for you. Those days are gone. Produce good content and it'll be good for you down the line. Use it to feed your social media and newsletters like I spoke earlier. Create a separate blog if you need. It's always good to have external backlinks. With Google loves these backlinks because they look at it and say if more people are coming to your site from an external area or an external site, then obviously what you're doing is good and your content is good. Otherwise, people wouldn't be coming to you. So they see they obviously they see your site is more important. Guest blog and other related blogs as well. When I talk about blogging, don't only just write it off to your blog. Make sure that you promote, you go and post on other people's blogs as well. And I see I'm running short of time, very short. Encourage other people to actually blog on your blog, ask people to introduce other people. And then those are some of the blog systems you can use. Right, I'm on the last slide, so just bear with me. I'm at 5 o'clock. I don't want to go too much over that. Rest in peace, Yellow Pages. Now what now? So when last did anybody open a Yellow Pages to go and find a business? These days, everybody looks online. But directories are important, and I was talking about those backlinks earlier. That's what directories are all about. So those directories for South Africa, the attorneys, COZA, lawyers, COZA, attorneys-SA, attorneys for law.co.za, Gumtree, local business sites, all of those sites are important. And the more of those that you have, the more backlinks you have to your site, the better for you in Google's eyes, or what I call Google food. So my advice is go and list yourself in as many directories that you can. Obviously, the free ones you can do without forking out any money. Go and do as many of those as you can. But yeah, so that's basically it on directories, but very important. It might not be Yellow Pages, but electronic directories are important. Right, that's it for questions. What I'd like to do is, if you have any questions, please just email me, malcolmp@techforlaw.co.za, malcolmp@techforlaw.co.za, or obviously just go onto the Tech for Law website, www.techforlaw.co.za, and contact me through that and post any questions. Or at the bottom of this webinar in Google Hangouts, there was a place where you can go and post some comments. I'll happily answer those as well. But thanks for your time. Appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Goodbye.